The spotlight's on you, Arnold. Now it's time for you to take your trophy and just say, it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. So, Arnold, the spotlight is now on you. It's my Arnold impersonation. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Okay, guys. Well, you know what? The spotlight is on Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, my favorite action star of all time. This guy, when I was a kid, he was amazing. He was awesome. He was the definition of action star. I would go pay to see his movie, or I tell my parents, let me borrow some money so I could see his movie, because any movie he was in, I wanted to watch. Now, over the, he became governor. I was even here. He came into Santa Maria, and I was actually here at the airport hangar bay where he was like, basically, he was there. He was just, he was promoting himself to be governor that year. And pretty much, I tried to get an autograph, and I never got one. That son of a bitch. Well, anyway, but Arnold. I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe it's good I don't meet him, because maybe I won't like him. But he seems like he's a douchebag, but he's a charismatic douchebag, and he does have a heart sometimes. So I'm not trying to bash Arnold or anything. Yeah, I am. Well, anyway, so basically, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I should have did this last week for Terminator Genesis, but I totally forgot and I didn't do it. So I thought, you know what, let's just slip it in here before I hit Comic-Con. Let's get started. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's bodybuilder. James Cameron found out. We know most of his story. I mean, he had controversy about, Nazism, I believe, his father and stuff. Illegal immigrant, I believe, maybe. I believe. It's been a while. There's a womanizer. I mean, this guy has been through the ups and downs, and especially having another illegitimate a son from a maid, basically, and Rhea Shriver, kicking him out. I mean, this guy's story is just crazy. The ups and downs, the twists and turns, but you cannot deny the fact the guy is a movie star, and the guy was great at what he did. Acting wise, I don't have a problem with his acting. There were some films in this list that I'm going to talk about where he actually did a very great job for what they casted him for a reason for this particular part, and it works for him. It blends well, especially with the teamwork with him and James Cameron, as you could see with Terminator Genesis. Even though Terminator Genesis was a horrible film, stupid film, it did bring some enjoyment. I mean, it was what it was. It was low expectations going in, and yeah, well, that's for another day. Anyway, well, it's not really, because Arnold is in that movie. But as you can see, James Cameron really knows how to direct Arnold. I mean, they worked on how many films? The Terminator franchise and True Lies. And Arnold when he came in, like, this guy has gotten better. But then now that he took a backseat and was the governor, I saw him getting a little. He's not as good as he used to be, especially when he first came out with The Last Stand and The Expendables. I was like, "Ew, Arnold, man, you've been sitting down way too much." It was great, that one little cameo with him and The Rock in the rundown, how he passed the torch, so to speak, because The Rock is like Arnold. But he's not better, but he is the people's champ. Well, anyway, so let's just run down these movies real quick. Arnold has been in quite a few. I mean, we all know his big movies, but let's talk about Hercules in New York, where he first started as Hercules. I've never seen it. I just seen little bits and clips about it. So almost, then you have Stay Hungry. I have never seen that. Pumping Iron, which is like a documentary of him in his competitions, his weightlifting competition. And this dude back in the day was huge. I'm pretty sure he was on some steroids, you know what I mean? The Villain, the Jay Manson Story, these films, like, they vary from 1970 to 1980. Conan the Barbarian. Everybody loves Conan the Barbarian. Now, I'll make a confession. I haven't seen all of Conan Barbarian, especially Conan the Destroyer. I've seen like most of it, just not the rest of it. It's like, when I was a kid. It definitely was when I was a kid. That was the movie that was being played all the time, especially around my family. And, Arnold only has like so many words in, I believe, Conan the Barbarian. What was that one word he goes, I never played you before. And I won't start now, or something like that. He's like praying. But Conan, like it's a pretty. I'm definitely gonna go back and watch him, especially since they're making. He's coming back as Conan, and I think that's a perfect role for old Arnie to come back in as Conan the Barbarian because he's old, and it fits those type of films. Like the older the actor, the better because it does have that how can I explain it? I just think older actors work for like a Conan series. No, not Conan O'Brien, just the Conan series. We also have, of course, 1984's The Terminator, the one that launched his career, and very much so, it deserves it. I mean, Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I mean, as the villain, this dude was the Terminator. He felt like a straight up no nonsense. I'm gonna kill you type of person. He had the look to it. He had the menace. You just scared of this guy. And when I watched it when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit, man. I mean, this was in 1984 and I wasn't born until 1989. But I remember when my mom and dad pretty much, they had the VHS and stuff, how they showed me the Terminator, and I believe it was on TV too sometimes. I remember watching. I was like, wow! I just fell in love with the movie. I thought the movie was amazing. I thought Arnold was amazing. This actor who just portrayed this assassin, this muscle-bound assassin, was definitely one of the great delights. Like, holy shit, man! This guy, you just believed it. You just believed that this guy was the Terminator, especially when he, all his skin fucking just was melted away in that one truck scene. So it just, with the semi blowing up, it was fucking unbelievable. I thought this is definitely what Arnold Schwarzenegger's career on the map. Now, Red Sonja, I have watched Red Sonja, and I thought I actually did enjoy Red Sonja. Arnold was like it was really cool to see Arnold in it, like he was the supporting character in there. So I thought Red Sonja was pretty good for him. Commando, a lot of people love Commando. I thought Commando was fine. I thought it was not too bad. It's not one of my favorites from Arnold, but a lot of people love Commando, and they want to make a complete Commando remake, maybe. Yeah, I think it was a remake, but Arnold was it wasn't too bad. Raw Deal, I've seen maybe a little bit of Raw Deal. I haven't seen it, all of it. I can't even really remember it. All of Arnold's films is definitely what I've seen as a kid, and now that I've grown up, I've seen the major ones over and over again. But like the little like Conan and Raw Deal and Commando, even Red Sonja, like I haven't gone back and definitely seen those. So I think I will go back and see those before Conan hits. Predator, come on guys! I just did a video. 1987 Predator. This is hands down my favorite Arnold film. I'm sorry, Terminator. I mean, there's so many greats from Arnold, but Jingle All the Way. But Predator is hands down my favorite Arnold movie. This was the film. It worked. It definitely worked. Him being a rescue team, with his team to go on a rescue mission, him being the lead, him fighting against the Predator, him just, he actually, I think this was one of his best acting performances because he delivered the lines very well. It could have been such a cheesy ass B film, but it became such a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. All right, guys. Stan Winston doing the Predator design, just fucking overall amazing, and even having some influence in James Cameron. So wherever Arnold goes, James Cameron is along with him. But yes, I think Arnold did a fantastic job. This was just a guy trying to survive. Of course, it looked like he could survive. Of course, it looked like he can go toe-to-toe with the Predator, but he's getting his ass kicked, which I loved because we think Arnold could beat anybody up. But when the Predator came, he was getting his ass whooped, and he had to use his intelligence. And I think that was something a little bit different than we've seen in Arnold films, him using his intelligence to fight off the Predator. So Predator, hands down, a master. I can go on and on again, but I think I will make a review, a fucking like hour-long review or something like that, a little skit later on in life. But Predator, hands out, my favorite. And then we have The Running Man. The Running Man, I really fucking enjoy. I really love The Running Man. I thought The Running Man was clever. It definitely dealt with, it's crazy. Like, The Running Man was like a stepping stone, and then we have all this kind of, was it not propaganda, but you have that, basically, the media, you have that message about the media, and, even like the what's facts and what's not. And then the Hunger Games School Rumble, not School, not School Rumble. That's anime. Battle Rumble, even not Divergent. What was the Hunger Games? And there was another series. Was it Divergent? No, the Scorch Trials. No, something like that. But The Running Man was definitely the one film that really kind of influenced a lot of these other kind of films. You can see Death Race as well. The Running Man was such a great like 80s type film movie. I mean, some parts are a little bit like, hilarious and cheesy, but Arnold did his charisma really just took over that whole movie, and you were just interested to see Arnold battling all these different kind of villains throughout. So I thought The Running Man was such a great film to watch as well. We had Red Heat. I can't remember that one. Twins, of course, Twins. I remember Twins was not too bad. It's not one of Arnold's best, but it wasn't too bad. Total Recall, amazing sci-fi movie. What can I say about it? They did a remake. They did the remake, and it was more catered to the book, but they never went to Mars, of course. But Total Recall, some of the stuff holds up today, and a lot of people love Total Recall. And if you say that's your favorite Arnold movie, I can't fucking argue with that, because Total Recall is a really great film. Kindergarten Cop, I really did enjoy Kindergarten Cop, even though it's a kids-friendly type of film. Like, who's your dad? What does he do? Great little lines there. It's kind of hilarious. He's a cop, and then he's going undercover. It really was a fun time. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, probably one of the best sequels of all time. You could be number one. I would have to think about if it is my number one sequel of all time. But fuck, man, Terminator 2 just really just brought it to a whole new level. Like, a lot of movies can't do that. There's only few in history, and the one I could think of is Empire Strikes Back, to really deliver and just really bring something, just a masterpiece, a simple film that you can nitpick maybe some of the things like the plot, the timeline, all that stuff, but just the overall, when you got out of the theater, you're like, shit, man, that was such a fucking amazing movie. Last Action Hero. A lot of people didn't like this film, but you know what? I actually really enjoyed it. I actually was one of the few who really liked Lost Action Hero. True Lies. I like, True Lies is one of those fucking awesome. It's weird. It's like, it has different kind of tones going for it, but it really does work. James Cameron's one of his best. James Cameron's best. Junior, Eraser, Jingle All the Way. It's my, if you see my review, guilty pleasure. Batman and Robin, of course, is a terrible movie. End of Days, I really enjoyed End of Days. I thought that was a great film. The Sixth Day, not too much. I thought it was kind of dumb. Collateral Damage was okay. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine. It was alright. I like the ending, but it's still a terrible movie. Around the World in 80 Days, I haven't seen it. The Expendables. The Expendables movies are terrible. They're shit. The Last Stand was... I didn't really enjoy it. Everybody else did enjoy it. I didn't really like it. Escape Plan, haven't seen that. Sabotage, have not seen that yet. The Expendables 3, of course, terrible. Haven't seen it yet, but it's probably terrible. I'll watch it, though. Terminator Genesis was bad, but it was a lot funner than I thought. So I had to go through those because I'm running out of time. But overall, you know what? It was Arnold Schwarzenegger really just... That was, everybody says, oh, my childhood, this and that. That was my childhood growing up, was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and Bruce Lee movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies were just fucking just badass. Always action, always one-liners. The dude had charisma. His acting, I just didn't think it was as bad. Like I said, there's some films in there where it just really catered. The film really catered. The plot really catered to Arnold, and he could really bring something to the table. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, think of what you want to think about the guy's lifestyle, this and that. Whether you want him back or not. Honestly, I think if you think, they don't even have Maggie up there. Maggie should have been up there as well. I think Maggie really showcased that Arnold should go maybe into like a little independent kind of route, but and stop doing like his like sequels and stuff. But Conan really does seem like the one movie that could really work, or even Predator. But honestly, I don't know how you would bring back Arnold Predator. I'd have to think about that. But overall, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what? That's the spotlight on you, buddy. You're awesome. You're probably the best action star ever, in my opinion. So that's it, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please like if you like the video, and please comment below and let me know what you guys' best action hero is. So thank you guys for listening, and Dan the Man is out.